So, say if you've got somebody listening just now and he's sitting there thinking, well, yeah, that's fine for the good-looking guys, the guys with the talent, the guys with this, the guy, X, Y, Z. But they're making it out that they haven't got the money, they haven't got the looks, they haven't got the style or whatever it is. How do you remedy that? How do you make them realise it's not about looks and it's not about their perceived place in the world, that anybody can get better at social skills and dating and things like that?
Definitely. I mean, well, I think that comes twofold, right? I always think that a nice way of looking at it is great social skills give you a boost on what you've already built yourself in your life. And I think that doesn't have to be, or it doesn't necessitate looks or social status. But I think people are really attracted to people who have got stuff going on in their lives. And sometimes that can be the easiest fix, So leading a life of high value is one of the ways that you demonstrate your internal sense of confidence and self-esteem as a person. So it's like, your apartment is tidy and clean. You wear clean clothes that are ironed and sort of fit. You exercise and you try most of the time, without being too self-punishing, to eat healthily. Because this is just things that people who care about themselves gravitate towards doing. And believe me, I say this as someone, I've had periods in my life where I haven't done any of that. I've probably been dealing with some harder emotional issues and have gone completely off the rails. So I'm not, but the good thing is with all of that, you can pull it back around and also create and build your life where you're doing projects of value. I even find as a woman, and I would say that women are judged more in terms of physical appearance, having stuff that you've done for yourself, like the fact, I've got my business, I've got stuff I'm passionate about and interested in, that's so attractive. So if you're a guy out there and you're like, where do I begin? It's like, begin. There's this whole amazing world of personal development, which is everything from fitness to exploring new career options to designing the life that you live to doing projects that you really care about and investing your time wisely. And then on top of that, there's a whole layer of social skills and development that you can learn that will really enrich your life, so that when you meet women, not only have you got great conversational skills or maybe just the ability to begin a conversation, but when they talk to you, you're a guy that has stuff going on in his life you're passionate and enthusiastic about, that you want to talk about. And that's not just for men. I think that's for everyone. Should be leading a purposeful life. And that's not even about attracting a member of the opposite or the same sex. That's just about, that's because it's your life and it's your hours and these are your days. And so time is your most valuable asset. And so using it wisely to do things purposefully, I think is just a really smart idea.
Well, it's a superb answer, and it actually leads me on to my next question.
That's good.
My mum always used to say to me that you can't be comfortable with somebody until you're comfortable in your own skin. And, you're mentioning there about having projects that you enjoy. And, I find that I'm the strange one for wanting to run my own podcast. I was the strange one in my group of friends for wanting to start my own business and things like that. How can somebody get comfortable in their own skin, that are branching out and trying these new hobbies and building the projects they love? Is there a way that they can get used to things like social anxiety, feelings of dread, loneliness, etc.?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I think there's a few things that I would say about this is your experience of loneliness, feelings of dread. That is the human experience. Like, I don't think there's anybody alive who has, at least not who hasn't gone through those same emotions. Like, I've had myself, personally, as a woman, as someone who's had relative degrees of success, it's just like I've had huge periods in my life of feeling really, really bleak, like super bleak. So I think identifying that that's normal is important, and accepting your feelings is important. So I think the root of lots of things comes from self-acceptance and knowing that there isn't really one perfect way of being or living, and actually that there's some honor in just doing things, how you like to do them. Like my nan, I love how you mentioned your mum. My nan, who is one of my big inspirations, she used to love the phrase, "To thy own self be true," and I really like it as well. It means that, you don't need to do the same thing as everyone else. Like you could do what is true and what's right and what morally and everything feels good for yourself. I think also just learning that it's a process is so important, and that sometimes there's a succession of events which don't necessarily feel fair or justified, and that there's a real benefit that just comes from being tenacious. You know, you've got to hang on in there and know that if with any certainty that if things are not going well and they haven't been going well for a while, if you just keep clinging on and you keep creating change, you keep trying to change your habits and your routines, you keep putting yourself out there, things will shift. It might take time, but they will shift. And I think one of the best things that anyone can do as part of that process is to spend time by yourself. Like, actually being comfy by yourself is fantastic, as is being comfortable to walk out the door and not being so much of a hermit that you close yourself off from human interactions. So I think also not to look at other people and assume that their life is somehow brilliant and awesome and that you just got the really bad hand in life. You know, don't make yourself a victim. Most people, not all, but most people have their cross to bear and have gone through some stuff. So the important thing to do is to take personal responsibility for creating change, to just keep going. If you're finding it hard to keep going, reach out and ask for support, because people will want to help you. And just look around and know that even if you're looking on Facebook and everyone looks like they're having the best time ever, I can say with some certainty that they're not. And you know, just stay focused on yourself.
Because that was another one of our many phrases, shall we say, was the ability about don't judge your own life on Facebook, because you're judging your entire life against somebody else's highlights, because they're only going to put up what's the best part of their day, or, you know, the best photos.
It's totally like, I mean, if I do a post, there's probably 20 photos that I took to get the one that looks like, that I think will look nice and stuff in my feed. And I, you know, as I said, there's been so many times where I felt lonely, I felt like giving up, I felt like no one will ever love me, I'm destined to die alone. I've had all those thoughts, like many times. So it's good to know that everybody kind of has those moments of bleakness, and that is actually, it's okay, and we shouldn't even try to want happiness 24/7. Like, that's kind of unrealistic. In fact, something great that I read recently was that, you know, happiness in itself is obviously, that's quite an inconsistent state. And what gives us kind of a good measure of long-term happiness is actually purpose. So not always being happy, but always trying to do things that are meaningful.